Welcome, everyone. Kevin Carpenter. I'm fortunate that I get to talk with Rainer Grimm today. We're going to talk about his upcoming talk that he's having at cpponsea. And even more importantly, he's teaching a class there, Concurrency and Modernes C++. I was fortunate enough to be able to take that back in 2018. And so, Rainer, go ahead and introduce yourself a bit. And then I want to find out how the class has changed.
Okay, I don't know how I should introduce myself. This will take too long. But anyway, let me just talk about my class, my workshop I will provide.
Okay.
It's about concurrency. Essentially, it has three parts. I start with 11, meaning multi-threading, so the classical stuff. I do it pretty concise. Then I jump directly to 17 to the parallel SDL, which is extremely nice, and you should know how to use it. And then the third part will be about 20. We got a lot of interesting additions to concurrency or to multi-threading in C++ 20. And this is essentially the plan for the day. But I will maybe change it based on your expectations and what you want to learn, because there's way more to explain.
So I got a question. When I took your class in 2018, we were just at the 17 standard. I remember we were going over some of like the parallel execution strategies and stuff because they were working and being put into the standard. Are they useful now? Like I remember back then GCC hadn't implemented them. I think only Microsoft had. Are all the compilers able to use the execution strategies now?
Let me put it differently. Of course, Microsoft still works with the parallel SDL. GCC uses under the TBB, the threading building blocks. Therefore, you can now use them, and they're really, really nice and really easy to use. And I already wrote a few blog posts about it to see how this works out when you use it with GCC. I have no experience with Clang, therefore I cannot say anything about Clang, but at least you have now Microsoft and you have GCC, and they work out of the box. You only have to install the threading building blocks from Intel.
Ah, okay. I helped Fedor do that on a server last year for his class because he was doing a performance thing, and it actually was pretty easy to install. You mentioned your blog, and so you write a lot, don't you? Because I've got your books before, your articles. You're pretty prolific in the education side, yes?
Of course, because I just do what I love. And to put it differently, I wrote around 600 blog posts in the last 7, 8 years. I don't know it so exactly anymore. And writing is also for me a means to learn something, you know? When you are able to write something and you can explain to someone else,
yep,
you know that you self-understand it. Therefore, it's the first way to understand it when you write about it. And the next way would be to teach it, because now you get the difficult question which you should answer. So this is the step of learning it.
It is interesting how much that holds true across the board with anything we do. If you can write about it, the amount of reading you have to do to understand, or the amount of studying to make sure you get it, but then to actually teach somebody else, have to get that feedback of whether or not they're understanding it. That's it's the best litmus test, I think, for if you can fully understand what you're talking about.
Let me be a little bit specific. I learn the most in a class. Really, I learn the most because I have to answer this question. And each participant will try to understand a feature from a different angle. Therefore, you have to think how they think, and then you have to answer it from their point of view. And this is how you learn it.
Yeah. So I know that your class that you're doing is only 1 day long, and I wanted to cover on that for a moment, because when I think about when I took the class, or when I take any of the classes at the conference, for me at least, I get that there's always so much information. But I always pick up 5 or 6, I'll say, gems, because, they're the learning points that help me get to the next part. I'll still have to go back and practice implementing what I've learned, but it's those few pieces that, get you past a roadblock. Anything you'd say along that lines for the amount of content we cover and such in the class?
Of course, I cover a big amount of content, of course, and you may be a little bit exhausted, such as I will be after the class. But anyway, my point is, I will do the best what I can do in one day, and there are still things you should learn, and you are never done learning, in particular when it comes about concurrency or multi-threading. And for that reason, I give you a coupon, so each participant gets a coupon for my book. And here are the additional 750 pages, which may help you to learn this stuff.
And the book is excellent, by the way. It wasn't out when I took your class, but I bought it after the fact. So it is a great book. And so you're also giving a talk at the conference, C++ 20 small pearls, I believe it is.
Exactly, yeah.
And
we have in C, sorry, continue, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay, we have in C++ 4 extremely big pearls, the big four: coroutines, ranges, concepts, and modules. And this is what I don't talk about. I want to talk about a little bit smaller features, and we have a lot of them which are extremely interesting, such as the spaceship operator, called the three-way comparison operator, improvement regarding const, this meaning const eval, regarding templates, regarding lambdas, a few new libraries, studspan, of course, chrono extension, formatting, there's a lot of additional stuff. And then we have these additions regarding concurrency, in which I talk about in my workshop, but also the talk, meaning you can wait on atomics. We have semaphores, we have ledgers, we have barriers, we have an atomic smart pointer, atomic weak putter, and so on and so on. I stop here because it may be too much for you, but essentially there's a lot of additional stuff we have in C++ 20 beside the big four.
Yeah. That's funny that you point that out. That I like the title on that, because as I've seen in the past year, the amount of talks on coroutines, which I understand why we're having them, but there's been lots of focus on the big four, as you said. And so I'm excited to see your talk on the other items. So if somebody really wants the best of both, they should come to your class, and then they should make sure to come to your talk. Yes?
I cannot say anything against it, of course, yeah.
So for everybody that's watching, if you want to come see Rainer's talk, the small pearls, or more importantly, take his class on concurrency and modern C++, the class will run June 27th at Folkestone at cpponsea. And then, of course, the conference is from June 28th to June 30th. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there, Rainer. We're just a little more than a month away, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
Listen, I appreciate your time today. I look forward to seeing you at the conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.